everyone, it's Angela Allen. Welcome back to the Handmade Homestead and Garden. Well, today we're going to do a quick little kitchen restock, and I'm going to take you along and show you what that's typically like for our small family. So let's go. These days we are a small family of 3. So that means once or twice a week I need to reset my refrigerator. I have to go through and use up all of the odds and ends, all of the leftovers, all of the half-used bottles and cans and containers of dehydrated food that I've opened. Just use everything up because we aim for zero waste. And part of that means I have to process anything that's come in abundance in that time so that none of that goes to waste either, be it from the garden in the summer or in this case springtime, and a lot of eggs from our very healthy, very happy 8 hens running around our backyard. Now I'm going to use some of these eggs today, but the rest of them I'm going to freeze. All of the shells will go back out to the chicken coop. We'll break them up and mix them with their feed so they don't see them as whole eggs. The ones in the bag, I'm going to pull this bag off so that I can vacuum seal it. But before I vacuum seal it, I am going to mix these very, very thoroughly. If you mix egg yolks and whites together before you freeze them, when they come out of the freezer, you can use them like any other blended egg product and you'll never know that they were frozen. I don't vacuum seal the air out. I really just lay them flat. Putting the extra in now means come wintertime when the hens stop laying, we'll have a good 20 dozen eggs in the freezer ready to use. I also use these 2 reset days a week to use up all of the leftover sourdough starter I have made. Now I don't make a lot of extra, and I never really have what you'd call discard because I use it as I go along on a regular basis. But in this case, I had made some extra to make crackers a couple of days ago. I didn't get around to making those, so I'm going to use that extra now, along with a couple of eggs and some other ingredients, to make sourdough pancakes with some berries that are left over from smoothies this week that didn't get all used up. Sourdough makes the best pancakes, and it makes really good waffles too. And my boys, my husband and my son, just love pancakes or waffles for breakfast. Just a little quick informational here. People often ask me where I get my kitchen towels. I do have nice, thick, sturdy, long-lasting kitchen towels, and I do make them. I am a weaver. I have an Etsy shop, and I'll put a link for that down in the description if you want to check it out. But yeah, that's where they all came from. All right, let's get back to the video. Another thing I commonly do on refrigerator reset days is I make jarred salad. These make great, fast, economical lunches that can be taken along to a picnic or to work. Let's add a few things to drink: some homemade tomato juice, homemade cranberry juice, and some lemon mint tea. Now I always get a couple of containers of vegetables prepped and ready to just heat up. These are garden green beans. We just had green beans, so I didn't do a lot. And then some tromboncino squash. And then I move right over into making homemade granola. Homemade granola is definitely a staple in our household. We don't buy box cereal, so we use this for that. We also use homemade granola for overnight oats. It's much better than just plain raw oats. I can tell you, give it a try. If you haven't, it's a big difference. We use granola with homemade yogurt and frozen berries or fresh fruit for a snack or for breakfast. I can always find a million ways to use granola. And it's so good. It's a little bit different every time, and that just keeps it more interesting. Whole nuts are a bonus. We always have those on hand too. I keep a mixed spices jar available with cinnamon and cloves and cardamom and some other spices, nutmeg, whatever I have handy, I throw in that jar. And I use it in all of my baked goods, in tea or in coffee sometimes. When I grind fresh coffee grounds, I will sometimes add it to that as well. So my jar was a little bit empty and I had to fill that up. So I grind everything in a spice grinder and it works fine. And I'm going to keep about a half-gallon jar full of granola in my refrigerator for use. And we will use that up in just a few days. We actually eat quite a bit of granola here. That's going to go right in the fridge. My empty refrigerator is starting to look filled up a little bit. These bag holders are so helpful. You can buy them in, I think, 4-packs or 6-packs, and I'll leave a link for those down in the description if you want to get them. They're inexpensive and they wash really well too. So this is just the extra granola. After filling up my half-gallon jar, I always make quite a bit at a time. This will get sealed up and tossed in the freezer. When my big jar is empty, I'll refill it with this. This will maybe half fill that jar. And I know at that point I need to make some more granola because we're running out fast. I do vacuum seal this just a little bit, but not super tight because I don't want to crush all of the fruit. And then in the freezer it goes. Another way to economically restock my refrigerator is just to use up some of the ingredients that I already have in a different way to make them a little more interesting. And that way it's not the same old boring food. Now I'm making caponata. This is something that I make quite frequently. I am a Sicilian Italian woman culturally. And this is a very common thing to have if you're Italian. Caponata is just a mixture of vegetables, mostly eggplant, some green peppers, some olives, some onions. You can add a little bit of carrot if you want, capers, mushrooms, a little bit of anchovy if you want. But all of that is cooked together. I roast the vegetables rather than fry them because I don't want to fry them in all that fat. I roast them fairly low with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil until they're browned enough, and then they all get mixed together in a pot and cooked together with a little bit of tomato and a little bit of vinegar. Mama needs a bit of a coffee break here for a second. Anyway, caponata is something that's often spread on bruschetta. It's very, very common in Italian cuisine, and it is delicious, and it lasts for a long time in the fridge. So I'm going to make some quick rolls just so that we can have those later with dinner. These are just a really quick, basic kind of biscuit with self-rising flour and yogurt. Only in my case, I don't buy self-rising flour. I just mix some baking soda, salt, and baking powder in with the flour when I was making it. We'll get those in the fridge, and boy, the fridge is starting to look like it's got something in it finally. I also, all this time, had bone broth simmering, which I've now turned into just a chicken vegetable soup. I will add noodles to this, but I don't add my noodles until after the soup is done. I cook the noodles separately so they don't get mushy in the soup, and I add them right before serving. So there, my refrigerator's finally looking like it can take us for the next couple of days. I'm going to add some corn from the freezer, and we are all set and ready for the next couple of days of meals. Well, thanks for coming along. It's been really fun spending a little time with you. I will see you next time. And here's a video. We'll put one right up here for you in case you'd like to watch something else that you might find interesting. And I will see you soon. Take care.